If you were to ask a lawn contractor what their dream machine was, chances are it's one of these things. This is a Gianni Ferrari, and I'm here with JP, the Australian distributor, and he's going to show me everything special about these machines. All right, tell me about this range then.
Okay, the range of Gianni Ferrari mowers is quite broad. We have cut and collect models starting from 30 inches or 75 centimetres right through to the 180 deck, which is right here. So
that's 72 inch in
the old language, yes.
Yeah.
And quite a few different sizes in between. Our most popular sizes today is the 130 as it stands here, available in both petrol or in diesel. And then we step up into our four-wheel drive range of mowers, which we've got some on display here today.
If I was going to give you a breakdown of the Gianni Ferrari, what I hear from people is that they have a great reputation of catching. Catching grass is something that not everybody's into, but if you are, it's really complicated. There's a lot of parts, there's a lot of challenges with it. And so this machine is sorting out a lot of it. At least that's what I hear, right?
Correct. So these units are able to cut and catch grass all year round. Rain, hail or shine, they will cut and collect better than anything else that I've experienced in the market. They also have a cool feature that every cutting deck that we have also has the ability to mulch. So for all those people out there that are the mulch fanatics, we can do that on these units as well. And we also have some cutting decks that actually just are able to cut and collect, and then by the switch of either a hydraulic lever or by a manual lever, we can switch from cutting and catching to cutting and mulching.
Right, so I didn't even realise that. So super versatile.
Yes, indeed.
When you go down the catching path,
yes,
right, one of the biggest challenges is if you don't have a catcher on the back, right, and you have a normal mower, people are going to have a blower out the side, it gets hit on things, it reduces your capacity to get through gates, you have to manually empty out these bags, it gets challenging, so a lot of people go, I don't even want to touch that. These things here though, they're taking care of it all, right?
Yeah, all those problems are taken care of.
So how does the mechanism actually work? How does it get it into the catcher? How do you empty the catcher? If I'm stunned, I don't know anything about these machines.
Yeah.
How do they work?
Okay, so primarily we've got the cutting deck at the front of the machine. We're able to trim on both sides of the cutting deck. As you mentioned, there's no blower on this unit, so it's not a cumbersome big box on the side. Trim on both sides of the deck. We have the blades spinning, which throws the grass into a chute. And then we have like an accelerator, a fan, which throws it then into the grass collector. So at any time, the distance from the blades to the hopper is greatly reduced in comparison to when you've got a side discharge cutting deck with a blower, with a long tube to get into the bags.
Yeah, because I used to own one, and they come out and then they come around.
Yes.
And the problem that I used to get is this corner elbow bit would always blow off.
Yeah, or block up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the grass has to go through such a long path, it slows down, thus that's when it blocks, especially when the grass is wet.
So we can see the blower in here, right?
We can, and I'm actually going to show you this on this unit, because it'll be a lot easier. Here you'll see the deck into the chute, and then we've got one set up over here directly where you can see the blower blades. So as the grass has been cut, it gets thrown into the blower box, and the impeller here sends it through the chute and then into the catcher. So from the chute into the catcher.
So then obviously like the catcher is lifting up here.
Yes.
We don't have the roof space. We're going to go outside and show it later. This will dump and dump into a truck, dump into a trailer.
That's right. These will lift as high as 2.2 meters now, and we can dump at any height. So we can dump the collector when it's down in the body, or any height between the chassis and 2.2 meters.
The hole opening, or whatever you chute, you call it. If I've got a 72-inch deck on here, and I'm cutting some really long stuff, how likely is this to get clogged?
Beautiful question. So what we have a disc, two discs with double blades. So the bottom blade cuts it, and the top blade mulches it. It's called VRS, Volume Reduction System. So we are processing a lot shorter piece of grass when it gets into the blower.
So basically, and I've experienced this with catching mowers, when you're doing long stuff, if you've only got one blade, it's cutting it once.
Correct.
Bigger chunks, more likely to get stuck.
That is right.
And the other thing about this is, because if you've ever had a cheap catcher system, which some people might have it on like a residential system, there is no fan, blasting the clippings as well. It's just relying on the power of the blades on some of these tractor style ones I've seen. So multiple blades cutting them down plus the force of the blower. I think I've got some clips actually from Daniel Smith, who sent me some of him doing some pretty crazy overgrown stuff as well. So it is very impressive, at least what I've seen. I've never used one, but what I've seen is pretty bloody impressive.
Yeah, they certainly can easily cut grass up to like knee height. That's really where we like to recommend the limit is. Sure, Daniel's cut grass a lot taller than that, but this unit should not block by using it in the fashion that the manufacturer intended, and that is no higher than knee height. And yeah, like I said before, rain, hail or shine, it'll cut and catch grass. So
with these, is there other options for blades depending on what type of grass you're cutting?
There is a mulching blade which has a flatter sail on it, but we don't recommend it because we're trying to accelerate the grass into the impeller.
Right. Now, is this one of those models that has the mulching switch on it?
No, this does not have the mulching switch.
So how do I mulch with this guy?
How do we mulch with this guy? Just excuse me. Okay, so we're able to put a mulching plug into our discharge chute, which then means that no clippings are going into the blower, and we're just reducing the clip by cutting it over and over and over again. So we're just mulching the turf. So
if you went to like one job, it's a collection job. You do this, you get to the next one, you can lift this up on the trailer.
Lift it up on the trailer.
Simple spanners.
Three Allen key bolts and you're mulching.
Done. So I know one of the things about these as well is that you buy sort of the mower component and then you buy a deck to suit the mower that you want, right?
You can configure different styles of cutting decks. So primarily people buy the collection deck.
Yeah.
Or we have the flail collection deck, or we have a rear discharge cutting deck. There is also a side discharge option available on the smaller units, but on the bigger units you just mulch and collect, or mulch and rear discharge. They're the combinations.
So I guess it was a fairly rare scenario, but let's say I wanted multiple different decks. How long would it take for me to switch them over?
On average, less than 5 minutes. It's
right.
Really 4 pins and a PDO shaft.
Right. So I could, in theory, take multiple decks with me out on like different jobs.
You could do that. Storage is the only limitation that you have.
Yeah, you need a long trailer. So what did you want to show me in here?
Okay, I wanted to show you the engine. All of our units are powered by Kubota diesel engines. And then the heart of the machine is the blower, the impeller, and that's where our efficiency center is. It really accelerates that grass through the bonnet chute and into the hopper as we talked about before.
How long before you have to replace the blower?
Okay, in Western Australia, where we have high silica based sand, it certainly wears faster than in other states, but we would see on average 300 to 400 hours out of a set of blower blades, and they are replaced individually.
Right.
So you don't have to pull out the whole fan. It's just done through the front of the blower housing, just with an Allen key socket.
I'm guessing that the more or the nicer maintained lawns last longer because there's not that much sand, rocks, sticks, debris.
Luke, what I always like to say is green grass doesn't wear out our components, it's the sand that does.
Right, we're getting crammed for space. Let's go outside and see what this can really do. And obviously this is all open up now, first thing I'm noticing as a contractor is like maintenance is going to be bloody simple on this.
Very easy, yes indeed. So all the access points, all the daily checks are easily gotten to. A radiator screen, we've got our dipstick, we've got our coolant overflow bottle, we've got our air cleaner. It's all just very, very easy to see and just quickly monitor to see where things are at.
So what should I, if I'm going to buy this, right, what should I be looking out for maintenance-wise?
The key areas are blades, impeller blades, and belts.
And everything else is pretty simple, same with how you treat any sort of 3-cylinder
That's right.
diesel.
The hydraulic system is virtually bulletproof. They're all oversized components for the horsepower of the machine. These same components are used in the 44 horsepower models.
Right.
Likewise in the 26, 28 horsepower models.
And this is a...
This is a 33 horsepower here today.
So 2 questions I get asked a lot. One is there going to be an electric version of this coming out anytime?
Well, I'm sure the engineers are working very hard to try and come up with a solution for that. But right now, the biggest challenge for them is where do we mount the batteries? How much catcher real estate do we encroach on? And what is the runtime that we are trying to achieve? And can we achieve all of this while still maintaining its ability to work on gradients? It must meet all standards, and with the battery stacked, the center of gravity changes significantly.
So if you put in a motor here,
Yeah,
an electric motor, and you have a lot of batteries,
Yeah.
it takes up a lot of volume, center of gravity goes up,
Yeah.
higher center of gravity is less you can do on slopes.
and then our grass collector capacity reduces significantly.
But I'm sure you can make it all small enough, but then you go, what is the power there? And the run time's 15 minutes or something like that, you know? So that's the challenge, right?
That is the challenge.
The other question I get is, Kubota have bought out Gianni. Is this gonna stay red, or will this eventually become orange?
No, it's not going to stay red. It's going to remain red and yellow.
True. But no orange?
No,
Keeping the branding?
They make this same product at the factory in 2 colors. So there is a Kubota distribution channel and there's a Gianni Ferrari distribution channel, and that will remain.
Right. So what did you want to show me on this? Because this is the big boy, the flagship.
I want to show you some cool stuff on this. What they've done with this, no belts for the blower. No belts for the PDO drive system. So
Right.
whilst on that model there, we have belts that transfer the drive from the engine to the PDO shaft. With this, it's all gear drive. This is the latest and greatest in Australia. It's a stage 5 or a tier 4 engine. They have just released last month in Italy. They released the V40. This is the V50. So this is 50 horsepower. The new model is the V40, which is its smaller brother. Fortunately, in Australia, we get the 44 horsepower anyway, and that's only available to us now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and only in red and yellow.
Right. So 50 horsepower, obviously it can take on more. You said before, no belts.
No belts to the drive system for the deck. There is still a belt for the actual blower drive, but that's it.
So with maintenance on this machine, does that significantly reduce the amount that you need to maintain it?
It would reduce the maintenance aspect when it comes to maintaining your PDO belts.
Yep.
Now, if you have a driver on it as opposed to an operator, you tend to go through belts faster. If you have someone who's in tune with the machine, then the belts have good longevity.
What's the capacity of the catcher?
On this unit, it's 1,300 litres, 1,300 litre grass catcher. And on the smaller T1 that we looked at earlier, it's 1,100 litres.
Wow. And how much weight are you getting in grass in something that big?
Depends whether it's wet grass or dry grass, but it's not uncommon to see half a tonne of grass.
Right, and that can lift it up, no worries.
Yes.
And like the height, we parked next to a truck. This is a fairly common contractor level truck. You can easily see full walls on that truck. If it was a tipper and you had this on a trailer or something, easily, comfortably get that in there.
Yes.
The only problem is I don't know how many catches you're going to fit in this size truck.
Yeah, well, that's...
The problem you get with these machines is that it tempts you into buying more and more bigger things. I need a bigger truck, I need a bigger trailer.
Yeah, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right?
I don't know, the job. You've got to get the job first. But once you've got it, hopefully they're paying you enough, it doesn't matter. What else is special about this machine?
About this particular unit?
Yeah.
4-wheel drive, full time. All 4-wheel drive on demand. So it is a unit that is pretty much a mountain goat, will go anywhere. It still has the ability to have a diff lock on it as well. And the fact that it's just so productive.
Right.
Productivity is its selling feature on this unit. And even though there's a lot going on, it's very simple to operate.
Biggest question someone's going to ask on this, what's the price point?
This unit here, as this stands, is $100,000.
With the deck?
With the deck.
So people will balk at that, but I've been saying this in every episode that one of the last things a contractor should think about is the cost of the machine. One of the first things is return on investment. Because if you're doubling your efficiency and you already have the work for it, you already have the money coming in, you can double the amount of work you do, and that could be $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 more every year.
That is correct.
And so that's why people are getting this sort of machine.
Yeah.
And a lot of people got $100,000 for a mower, but if you're efficient, you're making it back.
That's right. And this is a very efficient tool. In fact, all of the Gianni Ferrari mowers, they are built from the ground up to cut and catch. So the catcher is not an afterthought. Its core is efficiency, which spells productivity, which then equals return on investment.
What about the price points for the other ones?
Okay, so they are all stepped by $10,000, $15,000 per model as you go down. At entry level, Gianni Ferrari cut and collect model is $11,000. So we go right from $11,000 right through to $100,000.
Now, we've got to talk a little bit more about decks at some point. You don't have the 3-in-1 deck here, but I'll put some images on the screen. This is...
They've been selling so well that there's constantly out of stock.
So this is like a flail mower. Mm-hmm. My understanding is you can put vertical flail blades on it and make it like a grooming machine, a verti mower, whatever anyone wants to call that. You then get the ability to dump. How would you compare that to a typical tractor tow behind machine? Is it comparable? Is it in between? Is it even better?
I think it's better because it's more maneuverable, and you're facing the job. You're not trailing the job. Do you understand what I mean?
And then the dumping collection as well.
Yes.
And I guess the price point on some of those machines, it depends. I mean, it's horses for course. Someone's already got a tractor, they don't have to buy the whole thing. But if you've got one of these, the extra deck, you could switch it like we said before.
If you're investing from the ground up, you'd go this type of unit every time.
Right.
Compared to a tractor, which has limitations on the maneuverability, has limitations on the transportability as well. And with this, you're packing 50 horsepower, and then you put this up to the 1.60 meter flail deck, cut and collect. You would then move into beyond 3 ton on a tractor combination that does similar kind of work. So then you're getting down into ground compaction as well.
And then that gets also right into your, now I need a bigger truck. I may need to upgrade my license. What's the weight on this?
This unit here, we'll assume with the flail deck, you're talking 1.5 ton. So 1,500 kilos.
A few more things. One, which I've neglected to overlook before. When you have any sort of out front mower deck like this, there is a maneuverability across like contours where it doesn't follow necessarily what the mower's doing, it'll actually follow the ground. and you get a much nicer finish.
Contour following is really a must when you're trying to present high quality turf. This unit will follow those contours as we go up and over and left to right. We've got the ability to have good movement on both sides of the deck, both sideways and up and down.
Next thing is that these don't just do mowing. I mean, it's a little bit more common in Europe, my understanding is, but there's a whole bunch of different decks or attachments you can put in the front, right?
That's right. So we can cut grass, or we can put a snowblower attachment on it, or we can put a sprayer on it, we can put a fertilizer spreader unit on it. We can also just have like a vacuum hose for sucking out the leaves in gutters. It also just has a specific deck just for collecting leaves.
Now, how long are you getting life-wise out of these? What sort of hours are your clients getting from a single engine?
One of our customers that has very good history with these products, they've been using them for over 20 years. They on average would turn them over between 4,000 and 5,000 hours. That's just an economic service life for them. But I've seen customers that have purchased them second or third hand, and they've had as many as 8,000 hours on them.
Gee whiz, that's a lot of years.
But like anything, Luke, if you look after it, it will look after you. It is a machine that needs to be maintained, because in order to achieve the efficiency and the productivity, you must maintain it.
And I find as well that these machines, there is a lot more going on, so there is more to maintain, but if you do it right, it lasts.
That is right. Compared to like a cut and drop machine, as I like to refer to them, where you cut the grass, shoot it out the side or behind, there is a lot more going on with the grass collection system, but it's a lot more efficient than any other form of cut and collect.
Another thing I don't see a lot here is the cabs. I think I've seen one or two, but you can get a full aircon cab. You
can indeed, yeah.
Do you like going for that option?
It's horses for courses, right? If you're using the machine all day in, day out, rain, hail or shine, then yes, there is no substitute for a machine with a climate controlled cabin.
Right. How much does it cost if I break a window?
If you break a window, it's around about $1,500.
Right. And I would break a window, so I think I might just stay with one of these. I'll take a bit of rain every now and then.
Okay, I'll take that as a deal.
The final thing is you got the zero turn here and the wheel there.
Okay, so we have a range of machines. We've got the zero turn models in petrol or in diesel, two-wheel drive only, stick control. They are similar to control like some other collection mowers on the market. And then we've got the conventional steering wheel. So whatever he or she is more comfortable in using, we can help them out.
JP, thank you so much for showing me around.
No problems at all.
There's dealers around the country, right?
We have dealers Australia-wide, and just look up euroturf.com.au or tequip.com.au.
All right, well, thank you so much for showing us around. Everybody else, we'll see you in the next episode.